All right, everyone. So this was a pretty cool article from IGN. Here's the headline: Xbox newcomers are thanking veteran Helldivers 2 players for helping them out, and player numbers are seeing a massive boost as a result. So I wanted to do this, and we're going to read through the article, but I wanted to do this video because I think, there's so much negativity all the time. And this isn't just in gaming, but it's in everything, right? Anything people care about, there's going to be a level of negativity. And so when we see positive stories like this, I really was like, we got to cover this thing. In one of the more wholesome video game stories of the year, veteran Helldivers 2 players who've seen and done it all on PC and PlayStation 5 are helping out Xbox newcomers with player numbers hitting new heights. Arrowhead's Sony published third person co op shooter launched on Xbox Series X and S this week, and according to the CEO of the developer, concurrence hit an incredible 500,490 players across all platforms. But Helldivers 2 community is celebrating another milestone: the coming together of all players to help out new recruits on Xbox. Helldivers 2, as anyone who's played it for more than a few hours will know, can be panic-inducing experience with deliberately fussy controls and a level of complexity that can make what starts out as an easygoing mission quickly descend into chaos. This is entirely true. The first time I played Helldivers, I was trying, and it's one of those games that it is simple to grasp once you like. There's a little bit of a learning curve. You find that, and once you grasp kind of the basics, you start understanding. But then as you go up in difficulty, it just gets a lot harder and harder and harder. And there is a very like like you could really get into it, right? And you could really find, okay, this is great for this type of mission or whatever. Like there is a lot of deep stuff here that sometimes it's just better. Word of mouth is better, right? Than actually doing it by, Googling stuff online or something like that. Helldivers 2 focus on physics driven gameplay and friendly fire being on can also create an intimidating experience for newcomers. This is what fans of the game love about it and what newcomers via Xbox are now getting to grips with. So it's great to see the Helldivers subreddit, Discord, and social media channels littered with tales from players who are either thanking others for their co op handholding or just bigging up the community for being so helpful overall. So then they have some posts in here, but I'm sure they're going to expand on them. In a post on the Helldiver subreddit upvoted 7,400 times, Xbox player Drifter's Prodigy thanked the community for helping out new Xbox players. My first drop out of training, I immediately called in a machine gun and noticed an SOS beacon, so I called that in too. They said, not even 15 seconds later, two people joined, both level 100, and immediately showered the ground with some dope ass stuff. Quasar, Mexu, a bunch of other stuff I don't know the names for yet when it comes to ordnance. The best part, they both in chat and said, "Welcome, brother. Try these out," and then proceeded to guide me for the next 3 hours of gameplay. With how toxic online gaming can be nowadays, this release was a breath of fresh air, and the community has been absolutely wonderful to interact with. I knew I was in a good community when I accidentally pushed a button on a guy's backpack, and all he did was give me a hug and typed, "Hold me, brother," as we lit up in glorious liberation luminescence. I mean, just so there's more here. We'll keep reading, but just that little post to me tells you everything about gaming. Where it's so often on oh, this guy stinks, this guy stinks, this guy stinks. When you're playing online or something like that, and you see people communicating with each other. And look, part of that's fun. Okay, look, I grew up on the Xbox 360 days. We had a lot of fun, and people got pissed, and I get it. All right, I'm not saying everybody has to be just everything's great, but in a game like this where there's a new console that's getting it, you're trying to grow the community. It's a genuine fear. I'm sure Helldivers, devs felt this way too. There's a genuine fear of like, man, this game has a little bit of a learning curve and there's a lot to know. And right off the bat, you're guaranteed not to know all of that. And because it's something with friendly fire and other things, like it's a little bit different than like Call of Duty, where Call of Duty, if a good player's in the game, okay, he's going to go off and fine, and he can actually pick up the team a lot more. In this, especially if you're all kind of the same rank, it becomes a little bit of an issue, right? Where it could be something where if someone doesn't know what they're doing, it's an issue. And so to see people come in and be like, yeah, this is how you do this. We're going to help this guy out. They just created a player for life. That guy will love the Helldivers 2 community. He will love the game. If Helldivers 3, if they're planning on doing one of those, he'll buy that one, all because of these people who decided to help out a new player. And I think you need a lot more of that in gaming. It's just such a great thing. Experienced players are now seeking out Xbox players to help, scanning for low level missions and looking at player levels before joining. Level 1 through 15 players are usually Xbox players at the time of this article's publication, but of course, as Helldivers 2 Xbox launch heads into its first weekend, that range will fluctuate. I call in a mech and they always get in like puppies after a tennis ball, said Redditor the must own and show. It's really cute. I always avoid the mechs that high level players drop because I don't want them to think I'm stealing it, responded Embarrassed Split 71. I'm an Xbox player. Then continuing the wholesome exchange, the real Peter Bread explained, if they ping it, they want you to get in it. Source me, level 150, bringing toys. It's a particularly great time for Helldivers 2, which has some eye catching new gameplay experiences coming following the Halo ODST crossover event. The Into the Unjust update due out September 2nd. We will see Helldivers adventure into hive worlds, which include towering structures built by Terminites beneath planet surfaces. So that's the full article there. Go check that out on IGN. And it's just great. It's just really, really cool. And it certainly becomes one of those things where this is how you build a really good gaming community. And like I said, I'm not saying it should all be all flowers and rainbows, right? I get it, right? And like I said, I'm from the 360 era, so you would get online and everybody would kind of talk crap, and it would be, it was fun in that sense. But there's a line of like, this is funny trash talk, this is fun, to where it gets to the point where people are like, I just don't want to play this game anymore. Every Helldivers 2 game I join, somebody is yelling at me, and it's just not fun, right? You don't want that. And so in a game like this, seeing these new players kind of teach these other players how to play. And by the way, these type of guys joining these games does a lot more than looking up a guide or a YouTube video, because players like this can actually walk people through. Like, how long was it? Did they say 3 hours? I mean, you have people that are 100 plus that are going into these games and are like, yeah, helping out for the next 3 hours when they could be doing other missions. I'm sure. I mean, I'm not an expert at Helldivers, but my guess is if they're playing with such a low level, they're not ranking up to the same level that they, could be, or playing the same kind of fun missions, but they're doing it to help people out. And very, very cool story, which is why when I saw it, I said, well, you kind of got to make a video on that because it's really, really cool. So thank you all for watching.